friends, the April Curated Bead Box is here. It's called Twilight Twinkle. It is so pretty. I love the beads in the springtime. They're just my color palette all year long, but we get a lot of these colors in the springtime and it's just so great. So if you're not familiar with Curated Bead Box, it is a value box. You get a little bit of gemstones, not a lot, but mostly glass beads, very long strands. You get a complete findings pack, and you can go on the website right here and use these codes to get more of anything that you really liked from the box. And I will preface my unboxing and my project by saying I am missing a strand. There were supposed to be 8 strands, and I am missing one of my 6mm strands, so I don't exactly know what that looks like, but it's not going to hinder me. I don't even know what it looked like, but I already have a project designed and I'm really excited. It's simple. So this is a great box for beginners, because if you're just building your collection of beads to be able to pull from, you can make and make and make with this box, and you always have so much left over because you do get large quantities of a lot of glass style beads. And so my project today is going to be also really beginner friendly. If you are brand new to jewelry making, or if you're just coming back to it, I've been getting a lot of messages lately from people that, you know, their jewelry making has been asleep for a while. And so anyway, I'm going to do a really fast unboxing. I'll start with the 10mm strands. We got these beautiful purple glass pearls in 10mm. I love those. I'm going to kind of set things off my mat so I won't have as much cleanup to do to start my project. We also got this blue drizzle glass strand. The purple ones was an 8-inch strand. This is a 6-inch strand. Look how vibrant the color is, and it's monochromatic, but you can see the drizzle in the blue. It's really, really pretty. And then we got a purple crackle glass. It's like 2 colors. There's like a dark purple in the crackle, and then goes into a lavender. I love crackle glass, and this is particularly pretty. I just love that. And we got a 6-inch strand of that. And then this is a duo style glass bead in pink and blue, and we got a 6-inch strand of this one. It's so pretty and vibrant. The pink and the blue are really vibrant, and I love those 2 colors together. And then this one is wonderful. This is a deep pink marble style glass. There is a 16-inch strand here of this 8mm bead. It is so pretty. I love that. I'm a pink girl, so I really love that one. And then this is an 8mm violet and turquoise. I don't see that as violet. I see that as hot pink, but it says violet and turquoise. Maybe there is a little bit of violet in there. I see hot pink, but it is a duo style drizzle glass 8mm bead. And then this one is so cool. Look at the rich color of this one. So I think this is, I don't know if this is the 6mm Seascape abstract glass. I would say that's abstract glass. I don't know what Seascape about it, but I do love this. And then my missing strand was a 6mm hot pink gemstone style glass bead, so I'm not sure what that one is. Now with Curated Bead Box, sometimes they will substitute sizes or colors, but you always get the quantity that you're supposed to get. But it does happen when the companies are packing bead boxes, or sometimes I get something extra that's not on the list, and this time one was missing. But they have excellent customer service, so I am not the least bit worried. And then the next thing is we got approximately a 1-ounce bead mix. It's called Twilight Designer Glass Bead Mix, and I just love it. I love this little barrel bead. I love these Dalmatian spotted glass beads. That's such a pretty color. But what I really love in this mix are the disc beads. If you've been around my channel at all, you know that I have a little bit of a love affair with disc-like beads, and I just love these. There is purple and like a cobalt blue. There's this beautiful turquoise. I love stacking discs. There is something about stacking discs in design that just, there's a geometry, there's a texture that you create with it, and I love spacing them with metallic disc spacers. So that is my favorite thing in this bead mix. But there's this beautiful faceted crystal teardrop. There's a couple of those. There are some dark green peanut beads in this mix. I actually love peanut beads too. They look like a little peanut or a little hourglass, and again, they're just in stringing and in bead patterns. They just add a little something special. We've had these before, and I've really loved these too. These have a little metallic silver stripe around the center of a glass like egg-shaped bead, and there's a few of those. So this is a really, really wonderful mix. And then I'm crazy about these. Let me get a little piece of wire. These are 8mm gold stardust beads. These have such a beautiful look to them, such a beautiful sparkle, and they're really lightweight because they're hollow in the middle. So I love those. We got, let me tell you, 18 beads, so there is plenty to work with. Honestly, you could almost make like a whole necklace with some spacers and some wire. You could do just a gold bead necklace with those. It's so pretty. And let's see, up next, we got something that I totally love. We got gemstone links. So I think these are either a dyed quartz or some kind of an agate, but the links are already made with a little daisy spacer and a simple loop, and each one is kind of nugget. Well, they are nugget shaped, so they're all a little bit different. And we got purple, we got a hot pink, and a turquoise. I just love these. I think these are so gorgeous, and this is going to be my super easy project, and this is something that I'm going to make really fast, and also I will grab for this and wear this all season long because I love the colors. And then last but not least, we got 5 purple polyester tassels. Aren't they gorgeous? A couple of our boxes gave us tassels this month, so I'm going to embellish one of mine, and that's going to go into my project. So let me just clean up my mat a little bit and let's make a project. Okay, the findings pack this month was gold, and if you have never seen Curated Bead Box, you get like a full kit. You get crimp beads, jump rings, head pins, memory wire, bead stringing wire, lobster claw clasps. There's ear wires in here. I love getting this because, you know, it kind of keeps your stash full. But ironically, I'm not using anything from it. I have made my own jump rings out of Soft Flex 20 gauge wire, and I have pulled a toggle clasp from my stash, and I have an assortment of cone end caps, and I chose this one from the assortment, a ball head pin, and just a few crystal rondelle spacers and little daisy spacers to make dangles with. And I've laid out here what I want to do for my bracelet, and I'm going to create like a gemstone beaded chain. I love this. This is something I'll wear all the time, but I'm going to start with kind of fixing these links. So I just want to make sure that each of my links, that my loops are lined up. So I'm going to go down the line like that and just put a plier on each loop and make sure that they're going in the same direction. So like this one is really going in the opposite direction, and I want them to go the same because I'm going to connect these links with jump rings, and I'm going to do 2 jump rings for each connection to make it more chain-like. So I just want to make sure that my bracelet is not twisted. This is one of the components that I made with the stardust beads and the purple disc beads, and I think I'm going to do the other one in the turquoise discs. I'm color blocking here, if you did not notice that. I'm just kind of put, I started out with there are 4 gemstones in each color, and I started out with 3 because I like the odd number, but I think that's going to make my bracelet too long. So I went down to 2 gemstone links for each color block section, and it's going to be separated by a stardust bead that's flanked with those discs. So the next thing that I want to do is take my Permalac anti-tarnish coating, and I am just going to brush all of these links. I normally do this after I am finished making a piece, but I'm going to go ahead and do it ahead of time this time, because this dries super fast. But this way all my little daisy spacers and links can be drying while I work on that tassel, because if you know me at all, you know that I have to work on that tassel and embellish it and, you know, personalize it and make it a little fancier. So I'm just going to coat all of these and let them dry. And I will do the Stardust balls as well, but I'm going to do my wire wrapping before I do those. Not wire wrapping, my simple loops. Okay, while those are drying and before I make my other components, I'm going to cut this tassel and make it a little bit shorter. So I'm going to gather up all of these threads, and so that I don't make a mess on my mat, I'm going to cut it over this little plastic dish here and just try to get a nice, straight, even cut. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now I am going to embellish this tassel by taking a little piece of 24 gauge wire. I love my soft flex wire for things like this. It's a craft wire. It is not the German style wire, so it's a little softer, but it's got an anti-tarnish coating on it, and it just works really well for a lot of things. So I'm just going to poke this wire through this tassel. Just kind of get it through there. This one is really tight. Some of the tassels, this is easier. Some it's a little more challenging, especially with 24 gauge wire, but I want to try to get like right as close to the center as I can. And I'm going to bring this up to the top. And I have a little bit extra here because I do want to embellish further beyond just making a wrap. So I'm going to draw these two wires together with my pliers and just let my extra that I've cut, just let it hang out there. And I'm going to let this loop hang down. You can, I am always nervous about cutting loops on tassels that I'm modifying. So a lot of times I use them to hang a charm from. So when I'm all done, I may actually do that. So I'm going to take my nylon jaw pliers and I'm going to just get a twist in this wire so that it kind of becomes one wire. And just, you need to keep them together to get a decent twist. And I'm holding gentle pressure here, and I'm going to twist the tassel as I'm kind of pulling, gently pulling. And I'm just going to get a twist in here so that I can do a wire wrapped loop. And that should be more than enough. And now I'm going to just treat this as if it were a single wire, and I'm going to take this little cap. This is such a fun assortment, very inexpensive. It comes in quite a few finishes, and I just reach for this little assortment all the time. This little guy does not want to go down to the tassel. Okay. And I'm just going to push it down onto my tassel. Now I played through the assortment to get one that I really liked the way it fit, and I did like that this is hanging out underneath the cone because I want to wire wrap and bead embellish that. So I actually chose this one because I have this little spot to wrap on top of. And now I'm just going to grab a hold of my twisted wire like it was a single wire, give it a 90-degree bend, and put a wire wrapped loop in this. And I like to fuss with things, so I'm just going to like tidy up. Sometimes I do that when I'm wire wrapping a loop with twisted wire, but that is already so pretty. And then I'm going to take this same wire and just get a few wraps in. I'm going to come right underneath the cone and just get a few wraps. And I'm going to add some seed beads to this wire just to embellish a little bit further. And I think I'm going to just do these gold seed beads from the craft store. It doesn't take too many. I like to string from these little trays. Just put a few out here. and just string them on, get a good quantity on, and then I can wrap around my tassel and see if I want to add more seed beads. And I'm just going to wrap around just kind of the same way that we wrap a wire wrapped loop, just letting pushing my seed beads, but letting the wraps kind of lay beneath each other. And then I can see if I want to add more, and I think I do. And I'm even going to come to this wire, I think, and add a few more. You can do this really kind of like messy. You can do it super neat. You can just make it, you know, just embellish around the tassel and just make it look the way that you want. Like I want to fill in that space right there. So I'm going to come around here, and then I'm going to come to this one and add a few seed beads on this side just to fill in. Okay, then once you have the seed beads and the number of wraps that you like, you can really finish this off any way that you want. I have the perfect amount here to do 2 little spirals, and I think that's what I'm going to do. You can also like tuck it underneath, but I think I'm just going to create 2 really tiny little spirals here just because it's just the right amount. Let me put a little loop in this one too so I don't lose my seed beads while I'm spiraling the other side. Just like a little stopper now while I get the spirals done. It's 24 gauge wire, so the spirals go in really easy. And once you make the spiral, if you don't like it, you could even tuck it under the seed beads. You know, it's really just like a decorative stopper for the embellishment on around the tassel. Okay, so I decided to tuck that spiral underneath, and I'll make this one and just see if I like the way it looks as an embellishment. If not, I'll tuck it too. And that one is in, and I think I'm just going to lay it up and pull it tight. Like I said, if you don't care for the look of your spiral on your tassel, you can always tuck it under, but I think it's pretty. Just center everything. Very pretty. And then like I said, here I can also hang something. So I have a little head pin, and I have a couple of these disc spacers. Let's see if I want to do a crystal rondelle and a disc for a little further embellishment. That is so pretty. That's what I'm going to do. And I'll just do a little wire wrapped loop here. But before I wrap it closed, I'm going to add it right to that loop that I decided not to cut. So I'm just going to get my loop started, and then I'm going to open it right here to give myself a little bit of room and just add it right to that. And if I feel like this is too short, I might even tie a knot in the loop to pull this dangle up a little bit. This is going to be a charm on a bracelet, so if I feel like it's going to be in my way, that I'll do that. But for now, let me just get it wrapped right onto, close that loop. These are really fine 22 gauge ball head pins, so they're really easy to work with. I'm just going to get my plier in there and just wrap down to my beads with my tassel hanging off the edge. Okay, I tied a little knot and put a little beader's glue, and I'll let my tassel embellishment hang out, and I might as well go ahead and clean up my seed beads because I think I am done with seed beads for this project. I always put a link to this set of 2 trays. There's a large and a small in this set, because if you have to pick up the smaller beads, seed beads or anything like that, they are wonderful. They make the stringing experience and the cleanup experience just amazing. I love when I find good things like that. So what I'm going to do is start connecting my bracelet piece here, and I will decide. I'm going to connect everything that I know that I want in the piece. I do want to do a component for the middle, and let's see. I think here I'm going to do 2 of these turquoise discs on either side of, do I want to do this and do turquoise here? I think I'll switch it. I'm just going to take a piece of 20 gauge wire and make a little component. I used my 2 1/4 millimeter one-step looper for the other one. I am having a little problem with my hand, and I found that I could still do my loops today with this tool, even though my hand is not feeling well today. Work hard in my loop, and I'm just going to feed on a disc and one of these gold stardust beads and another disc. And then if I want to do more for the ends, I'm going to check my length. I want to connect everything with double jump rings, and I'll check my length. And if I feel like I need a little bit more length, then I'll make another component for one or both of the ends. Close my loop really well and work hard in it. And I want to make sure these are straight. So that's going to go here. And I think for my length, I think that I'm going to need an extra gemstone bead, and since pink is my favorite color, that's the one that I did. Now I'm wondering if I want to do the 3 pink in the middle and put the purple here. I like that so much better. So 2 purple gemstones, a turquoise spacer, 3 pink gemstones, a purple spacer, and then 2 turquoise. I really like that layout. And then I have a couple of extra stardust beads if I feel like I'm going to need length for the end. So I'm going to start on one end with a jump ring and add my round part of my toggle. Let's see, I think I'll do it that way. And usually on a toggle, maybe the hole is big enough. Sometimes the little connector on a toggle is not big enough for double jump rings, but if it is, I'm going to do double, and it looks like it is. I'm going to do double jump rings, 2 for every single connection on my bracelet all the way down. And this is great. It's actually fitting, and it's still pretty fluid. Let me see. Yep. Doesn't that look pretty? I love the double jump rings. It just makes it look more chain-like. And so I'm going to work my way down my entire length of my bracelet, adding a jump ring and adding my gemstones, and then adding a second jump ring. I'm going to do the entire length, and then I will check my length and decide if I want or need to make another component. Okay, I did end up taking out one of my pink gemstones because I do like the length for me a little bit shorter, and I just love the color blocking, and this is such an easy, fun, beginner-friendly project. Let me just check and make sure that I did 2 jump rings for each connection, and I did. And now I just have to decide where I want to put my tassel. I don't think I want to put it on the purple beads. I think I want to put it right here, like next to the pink beads. Do I want to come on this side? Maybe right there. So I have a little trick for attaching dangles or charms to your pieces, and I'm going to grab a really heavy duty, this is a little stainless steel diamond cut jump ring assortment that I just love. I've reordered that a couple of times, and so what I'm going to do instead of connecting my tassel charm through any of these simple loops or any of my jump ring loops, I'm going to take this jump ring and go over the circumference of the whole piece. So it's going around my simple loops, and then I'm going to attach my dangle and then close it really well. And then no matter which way I put my bracelet on, whether I pick it up this way or whether I do it this way, which is generally the way I do, is lay my chain over my arm and then put my toggle through. But my little dangle is never stuck. It will fall whichever way I pick it up and put it on. My other bracelet is a little bit in the way of this one. I definitely wouldn't wear those together, but I just love that. And I might even decide to trim my tassel just a little bit shorter, although I really love the drama of it. I love tassels. I have a couple of friends that don't love tassels. It's one of those things, I think you either love them or you hate them, but I think they're so pretty when you embellish them with a pretty bead cap and some seed beads and then add like another little charm on the tassel. It's so, so pretty. So to finish this up, I'm going to come back with my Permalac anti-tarnish coating, and I'm going to do the things that did not get done. Let's see, my Stardust spacers, and I know my toggle does, and this little Tibetan cone. It's so, so pretty, but it is just fashion jewelry. It's lovely, it's plated, but I do not want it to darken. I want it to stay that color. So I just brush my anti-tarnish coating generously over it. It dries really fast, and honestly, even my crystal rondelle spacer and my plated brass ball head pin will get a little coat. And a tip, if you like this idea of this anti-tarnish coating for things that will darken, if you buy the semi-gloss, you can brush it over like crystal rondelle spacers and anything that you still want it to sparkle, and it will not cloud it. It also comes in matte, but if you use the matte, you need to put it like on matte beads or something that doesn't have sparkle and twinkle, because the matte will definitely cloud that and take it away. So I'm just going to brush it generously over my toggle clasp, and I just put my pieces in a little dish. And they dry really fast, and you don't have to be super precise. And if you sell on a website, it is so nice to add this to your listing, that all your metal findings are coated with an anti-tarnish protector. And you know, that is just a great selling point, and it definitely sets your work apart from other people's work. So I'm going to do all the pieces. These little Stardust beads are so beautiful. And I'm just going to give it a nice generous coat and work my way down to my T-bar. And this lovely piece is done. It's dry. I'll put some pictures up at the end, and don't forget to check the description box. I have links to the Curated Bead Box, and I have a discount code, so you can get a nice discount off your first box if you are not already receiving it. And I always put links to my favorite tools and anything that I've used in the project that I know where I got it, that I think you might be interested in. I always link that in my description boxes as well. And I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.